This is why the Z will never be better than the Supra. First of all, there are going to be 3 to 4 different trims, but I have all the details here. I went and stopped at the Nissan dealership just to see if they had one. And this is what they told me. They gave me this. It's a brochure. The Z could possibly never be better than the Supra. First of all, the Supra has a lot of features that the Z has in comparison. If you look, the Z and the Supra have tons of comparison. Like, they could be identical twins. They really could be. They could be identical twins. You can see in the mirrors and the slope of the roof a little bit how the Z is, even in the back. But look at the shape of the Supra. Now, this is no way to be biased. This is not to be, one-sided. I really appreciate the Z, and I like the Z a lot. I like that it's going to be a 6-speed manual, but that doesn't mean you'll be shifting faster. Another thing is the horsepower and the torque comparison. Now, the Supra, the red calipers are cool, the 19-inch wheels are cool, but the stopping power is very important. On one of the trims, the stopping power has 6 pistons. What we'll get are the 4-piston calipers in the front, and I believe in the rear as well. Now, the Z will have 400 horses, 6-speed manual, 350 pounds of torque. The Toyota Supra 2022 is at 382 or 86 or 85 and 365, something like that. I'm giving you an exact numbers with the Z and all the detail and features. You can pause it to read if you like. But like I said, if you really truly know the history of the Nissan Z and understand the marketing, if you really know the history, the Z was born from the Supra, the Celica Supra. If you don't know the history and the facts, the Z was born from the Supra. I'm gonna repeat that. The Z was born from the Supra. Now, I said the Supra, it's funny. But what I mean by that is, there was a time back in the 60s when there was a Fairlady Z and then the Celica Supra. To my understanding, they both kind of were spawned by Yamaha in a way. Yamaha wanted to work with a car company on this new technology they had. And the technology had, there's a lot of noise in the back because this is the city. But anyway, if you look at the Supra and the Z in comparison, they could be cousins, distant relatives, but no matter what they are, they're competitors. They're always going to be competitors because Nissan and Toyota, have been competing for decades. So the Supra looks great. That's the old Fairlady Z. There's a lot of comparison to even how the old look looks with the new. So what I'm saying is this, and I'm going to make this short, why the Z could never be better than the Supra. First of all, if you know the history, the Z was only made because the Celica Supra was made. And Yamaha went to Toyota with the technology and said, hey, can we use this technology to build a car? Because cars were getting faster and faster and faster and faster as the time went by. Yamaha had this technology to say, hey, we can really make cars fast. Can we work with you guys? Nissan said no at first. One of their biggest career mistakes. Nissan said no. They said, we want to use this technology that we have already, or we can't afford to pay you this technology, or not necessarily can't afford to pay the technology, but hey, can we work something out, or we'll just pass on it? Because they did create something. They did, but it was a car that I can't remember the name of it, but it didn't do well. They didn't promote it. It was just a prototype. So now Nissan is looking at Z Nissan is looking like, oh, okay, we'll just pass on this opportunity, which was a big mistake. It was a really big mistake because Yamaha ended up going over to Toyota with the technology, and that's when they birthed the Celica Supra, the very first one back in the 60s. I don't remember the code name of it, but it was back then. So ever since then, Nissan has been trying to play catch up. Now, this is where they're playing catch up at. They're playing catch up with the performance, but they're not playing catch up with looks. Now, the Supra will always be way more sexier, especially if we compare just the MK5 and just the new Nissan Z. It's not a 400Z, it's not a 350Z, it's not a 370Z. It's just the Nissan Z. Now, look at this body shape and the history. Celica Supra or Supra just in general, whether it's the GR Supra or any kind of Supra, will always have the legendary status of being the first of one of its kind, even back to the 2000 GT. I know we're not going to get off the brand new Zs and the brand new Supra. It's just that it was just a quick comparison, because you can see every decade and every Celica Supra or Supra ever inside of this one car. Now, Nissan is trying to do the same, but they really, I'm not going to say they didn't nail it, because in my opinion they did, because they wanted to pay homage. And you know, I don't speak French, so I'm not going to say homage, but look how they went back, like retro style, to the new one. It's like they want to keep up with the times, but this is built off of an 08 platform. The platform is from 08. I'm not saying that's old, it's just the Z will never be better than the Supra, because yes, there's German engineering in this car. We've all come to that agreement or that understanding. You can't take away the Supra's name though. It's legendary. The 350Z and the 370Z have always been trying to play keep up. Yes, they lasted longer, but you have to understand the history and why the Z can never outperform or outshine the Supra, whether it's the new one or the old ones or whatever. It's always going to be playing catch up, and it's always going to be, you know, and I know this sounds biased because I will get a few, because I have one. I was going to put a 1.5JZ VVTi in it. I skipped it because a lot of people get mad that there's a German engine inside of a Toyota Supra, but they don't get mad of so many Beamers that have the 2JZ swaps. It's kind of controversial and hypocritical in my opinion. But when it comes to looks and aesthetics, the Supra wins. Interior, Supra wins. Performance, even with the 6-speed transmission, I believe Supra wins. We're going to see when that time comes out and those new Zs, those new Nissan Zs come out. I'm going to, as many as I find on the streets, or if I do find one, or even if I get one myself, and start a new channel. Even though I love this one, I love the support, and I thank you guys. I really do. I like all the comments, I appreciate them, and I welcome them. All I have to say is, if you ever want to test drive, it's on Turo. And also, when or if I ever see a Nissan Z or get my hands on one, I will always do a comparison, and I will show you that the new Supra will always outperform and be better. Because when it comes to history and the truth and the facts, Nissan Z has always been trying to keep up with the Celica Supra. That's my opinion. I can get some facts if it's necessary, but all I have to say is the Nissan Z will never be better than the Supra. Add your comments. You can always feel free to scan this QR code, look it up yourself, and we can have a debate on this. This is just my opinion. I don't mean to hurt any feelings, and I don't mean to be biased. It's just an opinion. But I can really get some facts for you and let you know that the Supra birthed it birthed the 350Z, the 370Z, the 240Z, even back then, the 280Z, the 300Z. All those came from the very first Toyota Supra, thanks to Yamaha and Toyota. So thanks to Yamaha and Toyota, the Z was brought into existence. We can have a full-blown debate on this if we want. Let's take it there. Adios, muchachos. And muchachas if you're watching.